Hi everyone, my name is Crystal and this is my very first YouTube video. I am making this video to try to help people because I've watched all these depression videos and suicide videos and I've actually been through similar things to them, and that started when I was really young. So I'm going to tell you the story about my past, and there are specific people in my life or in my past that knows part of my stories and only knows a little bits and pieces that aren't so traumatic. But I want everyone to know the full story of where I am today and how I got here through all the traumatic depression and everything. And I hope this can help anybody that is going through something similar. And this got I thought to do this video because I've watched so many depression videos and suicide videos. So I've actually attempted to kill myself, and from my depression and from my past. So I'm gonna start with telling the story from when I was younger until where I am now. I will be I won't be saying anyone's name. I'm just going to be using their initials. The only name that's going to be named in this video is my name. So, even if it's not in the video, this is from my point of view. And you guys might not believe it, but I've been through some very horrible situations. And I am hoping you guys will take this in consideration of helping yourselves or sending it to someone else to help them. But my story starts out from when I was very young. I only know how old I was, around how old I was, because I've had visions of it, I've dreamed about it, and I can still feel that person on me. And I have really bad PTSD from it too. But when I was younger, I'll just say this: at the age of 5, I turned in my biological parents, and me and my 4 siblings. I have 2 sisters and 2 brothers who went through the same thing, but I got it the worst. I turned in my parents for physically, sexually, and mentally abusing us. I got the worst of it, and yeah, I feel bad because my biological mom didn't really do anything bad to us. She just sat there and let it happen. But before that, I was thrown off porches. I have so many scars, mentally and physically, from my biological father. When I was younger, I asked for a popsicle because everybody else had one, and I asked my biological father to, and I'm not going to say his name because that's not important. The only thing important about this is where I am today and how I got here. I honestly don't remember the feeling of this, but he almost cut my finger off when I asked for a popsicle. He was like, "Yeah, come here and I'll teach you how to open a popsicle." And I wanted it like spit right in the middle like everybody else had it because you had 2 then. So he grabbed a knife and he was like, "Come here, I'm going to show you how to hold it so you can cut it." And so I was holding the very end, and he moved my hand right to the middle of it where he said he was going to cut it, and he just like slammed the knife down, which almost cut my finger off, and I have a scar on my finger. It's on my left hand on my pointer finger. And he was a truck driver, so he went off on the road, and that's the only time I've ever felt safe, is when he was on the road, and I was alone with my mom and everything, my biological mom. And so I never went to school until after my aunt took us in custody after being in foster care for over a year. For almost a year. But through all the abuse, been thrown off porches. We moved around constantly. I never went to school until I was in 2nd grade. And I've always just felt the pain. I have 2 scars on my leg from being thrown off a porch. I have a scar above my left eye right here, if you guys can't see it. Like right there in that crease. I have a scar right here in the middle of my forehead somewhere. I'm not going to get really close to the screen because I'm ugly. And so, but anyways, aside from that, the mental abuse started mainly when I was always getting cussed out by my biological father. And let's just say I was happy when he got put in jail for life. I was happy to hear that my mom got out of jail and got herself straightened out. And I'm happy to say I am actually in contact with her, and I'm happy about it. But in foster care, both of my brothers, mainly my younger one of my brothers is older and one of them's younger. Where me and my 2 brothers have the same dad, and then my 2 older sisters have separate dads than us. But this is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. But my younger brother got strangled multiple times by our foster brothers, the brothers we had in foster care, and it wasn't safe for us. They got beat multiple times by the kids with baseball bats, and we went to multiple foster cares. We got moved to a new one every week or every other week. And it was a lot for us, but then our aunt found out about us, our aunt and uncle, and they came and got us. And a year later, after they got us, we thought everything was normal and everything, because she treated us like her own kids. And she has 5 other kids of her own that she had herself. And then she adopted 5 more, so she had a total of 10 kids. But all of her first 5 were all grown and had kids and all of that. And so she took us in custody, and a year later, after we lived there for about a year and a half, and then we had to go back, and I had to testify against my biological parents. My biological father got put in jail for life because he admitted to everything he did to me. And I hate saying this, but David, sorry, I don't want to cuss in this video, but every time I think about my biological father, I want to cuss. So it takes me a second to find a different word to use. My biological father raped me multiple times when I was younger, from the time I was 2 until I was 5. And I thought everything was so normal and everything. And we live down the road from one of my best friends. Her mom owned a lot of the land over there, so we were renting a trailer from her. And I had my 2 best friends. I'm not going to mention their names. There's a guy and there's a girl, and they're like my best friends. We lost contact until about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, when I started getting in contact with them again. And it's like no time has been, it feels like we've never been separated, and it feels like time hasn't passed at all, that we've been friends the whole time. And honestly, I care about that so much. They're like siblings to me. But now, there's a lot of people that came through my past. And they're from schools, but I have a feeling most of the people that will end up watching this, if anyone does watch it, which I won't be surprised if no one does. Most of the people that will watch this are the ones that bullied me. I've been bullied since 2nd grade. And the mental and verbal abuse got really bad then, right after we got adopted. For me, this is really, really hard for me. For me, the verbal abuse started then, and it lessened a little bit, and then it got completely worse about 8 years ago. Around when I turned 10, the verbal abuse got really bad. The bullying got worse. I made friends, and they all turned on me after they found out about my story. They used my story against me. Well, the parts that I told them. The only parts I told them was I was abused when I was younger, and so my mind's not straight. But what they don't know is there's more to it. There's a whole story behind it. And if you hear me doubting myself, making myself look like I make myself feel down, that's just normal for me. I don't accept compliments like people have told me I'm pretty, that I'm attractive, that I'm gorgeous, that I'm skinny. I don't believe any of that. I grew up not, because my whole entire life I've been called fat, ugly, and I've been called crazy. I've been called a loser. I've been called forward-eyed too. But there's a lot more that I have been called. People have came up to me and told me to kill myself. I remember this one time, it was right after I started me, and I think he was like my best friend at first. But I had this group of friends in middle school, and that's when I met the first person I thought I fell in love with. Honestly, I think I'm still in love with him. But besides the point, after he went to high school, I was in 7th grade and he was in 8th. So after he graduated from 8th grade and went to high school, we ended up breaking up. And we dated off and on for a couple months, and for almost a year. And he started dating other girls from his school because they were closer and they were able to go and hang out. But there was this one kid, it was his very first day of school, and he wanted to get in with the popular kids. So they told him to do something that was really, really cruel. And I'm not surprised they went after me. I told the school principal and everything, and you guys can call me a snitch all you want. I was young. I was getting bullied, and it just got worse. Before seminar one day, this kid came up to me and told me to kill myself. I said no, walked away, and went to class like I was supposed to. And I was used to it. People have told me to kill myself before. Yes, I've thought about doing it, and yes, I've attempted to do it before. But I never succeeded. And I'm happy about that, because I wouldn't be here today. And I wouldn't be able to share my story with you. That very next day, though, it got 10 times worse. Well, probably not 10 times, but it got pretty worse, because there's worse things that happened. The same kid came up to me and told me to go kill myself, and then handed me a knife. I ran off to the bathroom, and I was late to my next class because of him. And I went up to the teacher and I was like, can I please go to the office? I have to report something. And she was like, okay, whatever, and gave me a pass. And I went up to the office to tell the principal and the guidance counselors what happened. They caught him, and he went to a place, and he went to a different school for troubled kids like that, like juvenile kids and people who bully and bring stuff to, like, weapons to school. But it was his very first day, I found out, and he told the office that he was just trying to get in with the cool kids, and they told him to do that. Honestly, I didn't care. Yes, I cared, but I was already at the point of my life where I was like, I'm done with life. I'm done with everything I was just done. A few years ago, where I was living, I'm not going to say where I was living. It's kind of weird. Or where I'm living at right now. But I was so depressed. I was getting bullied by family too. I was told that I was not wanted. I've been told multiple things. I've been called ugly. I've been told multiple times that I'm going to end up being a prostitute. But honestly, I have not done anything bad. Yeah, there's some things that I probably shouldn't have done when I was younger, but that's being a kid. And that's how you grow up, is by making mistakes and learning from them. I learned a lot of stuff from my mistakes. I'll tell you that. But now that I'm more responsible, it's harder to tell this because you have to remember what happened to you and how you dealt with it. I still have scars emotionally, and I'm still not stable, but I'm doing better. Just this last year, it got really bad for me. Through the whole school year, I attempted to kill myself at least 6 times. Most of them were at school because my school had balconies. And most of the kids didn't use the balcony that I was like on. And thankfully, there was a couple students that walked by and pulled me from the balcony. I was like, please don't tell anyone. I'm just going through a lot right now. And they were like, yeah, okay, whatever, and went back to class. And that happened multiple times, at least 4 or 5. And then I turned 18 and I was working and finishing school like I was supposed to. I had such a stressful life then. I've been working since I was 16. I've been supporting me and my 2 brothers and making sure we had everything we needed to survive living in a house full of people. My aunt that adopted us, I used to call her mom because she was like, if you don't call me mom, you're not getting anything. So I started calling her mom. Okay, I got that. So when I was living with her, she forced me to transfer schools. The school I'm getting ready to go to is my 4th high school. And I'm just getting ready to start my senior year. I went to 2 schools my freshman year. I went to another school from my freshman year to my sophomore year. And then I went from my sophomore year to my junior year, finishing my junior year. And then I'm doing my senior year in where I'm going to now. I'm not stating where I am. But honestly, last year was the hardest for me. The verbal abuse got bad. I was forced to move from my one place to another place to live with one of my sisters. And yeah, at first it was really good. I finished the school year out. I passed all my grades. I was on the AB honor roll, which I was so happy about. because I was volunteering at the church I went to. And after my aunt moved down to with my brother, I was happy to see my brother. I missed him all the time. Both my brothers are my best friends. There's no doubting that. They're the first person I go to when I have something wrong, and then the person I'm talking to right now that I've liked for a while. But everything went downhill when I started dating someone. And honestly, I'm not gonna say I regret dating him, but I'm gonna say I regret falling for him. He's the last person. I liked being with him, but he made me feel worthless because he cheated on me. He's lied to me directly, even though I knew what was going on. And then the person he cheated on me with was one of my best friends. The one person that I went to for everything. She knew my story. And so I stopped being friends with her. And he started dating her. Then he broke up with her to date me because I fell for his charms again. Yeah, I was stupid then. And that was after I turned 18. And that was around, I actually started dating him 2 days before my birthday. And then I found out he was cheating on me the whole entire time a couple months later, which was in March. And after then, it was kind of off and on with me and him. I was working, volunteering, watching kids, running kids to games and practices, and trying to do everything I needed to for myself. But it was just getting so stressful, and I was so depressed already from all the drama at school. High school is just drama land. That's all it is. But then my aunt kicked me out of I left the house because I couldn't deal with everything anymore. I attempted to kill myself in that house at least 4 times, and there was just a newborn baby there. And there was a total of 17 people living there before I moved out. That was just my phone falling off the bed. But there's a lot to my story, and I skipped a lot of it. But the main things you need to know are from my depression. I have PTSD, depression. I was just recently diagnosed with bipolar. I'll finish that story in a second, but I'm just gonna repeat it. I have PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, which also causes me to have the visions from my past, and which makes me feel my biological father's hands on me. I have depression, which is really bad, because that's what causes me to want to kill myself, and what's caused me to attempt to kill myself. I am also bipolar, which depression and bipolar and PTSD do not mix at all. But to finish the story, when I got kicked out, I went to stay the night at his house for a bit. That night when I left, because it was right there in town. And I was moving in with my my so-called best friend. Well, she is my best friend, but we haven't been talking a lot lately since I left. But I was living with her for a couple months and finishing school and living my life to the fullest. And yes, I was happier, but everything went downhill completely. She doesn't know this, and I know she's going to probably watch this just because I'm in it. I'm the one creating it, and I posted something on Facebook saying I was making one of these videos, but there's one day at school that I ended up getting raped. I don't know who it was, but I was raped at school, and my depression got really, really bad. And the day before school was out, we got out of school early, a couple hours early, because we finished our exams for that day. And I tried to kill myself at her house outside somewhere. I disappeared for like 10-15 minutes. I tried to kill myself. I tried to hang myself in one of her trees. But after I was just hanging there for a second, I was like, I can't do this. So I didn't actually kill myself. I tried to attempt to, but it didn't work. So I went inside and was just preparing for my next exams the next day. And I acted like nothing happened. So since that didn't work, I started cutting. And she didn't know about it until one day I told her, and she was like, Crystal, I can get you help. I know how somewhere that can get you help. So she told me about this place called Vista, which is a psychiatric hospital. Basically, it's a mental hospital, is what I like to say. But after school, my very last day of school, I broke up with the guy I was dating for a while. And I was like, I'm mentally not stable anymore. And I hate blaming it on him, but he's part of the reason why I got to that situation. Because of all the lies and everything he told me. And I'm not naming people, but when I went to Vista, I had no insurance, so I'm gonna have to pay with that out of pocket, which is not cheap. But I went to Vista, and I was in there for a few days. I think I was in there for about 3 days, because I went in on a Friday and I didn't get out until Wednesday, so that's about 5 days. And in Vista, I met this guy. He's so sweet. And I thought I liked him, but and we both got out that Wednesday. But he ended up going back in. He relapsed into what he was doing and went into Vista. I'm not going to tell you his story because it's not my business to be telling. But that right after I got out, I was on, because they put me on an antidepressant and a sleeping medicine because the antidepressant made me energetic. But what happened was the sleeping medicine didn't work and made me more energetic, and the antidepressant made me even more depressed. And one night, I guess I was staring at my mess and was like, how long will it take it to kill me if I took this medicine? So, let's just say I was getting ready to attempt to kill myself again, even on the medicine. So my best friend was like, Crystal, we need to get you back into this. So that next Saturday, I went back to Vista in the afternoon because her mom wasn't working then. And I ended up being in there for a week. They took me off my medicine and diagnosed me with being bipolar, because the antidepressant and being bipolar don't mix. There's no medicine you can take that will help with your depression and your bipolar. But they finally found a medicine that equals it out for me. I haven't been as depressed, and I take my medicine, but it makes me pass out. And so after I got out of Vista the second time, while I was in Vista, I called my grandparents, and they told me that I can move up and live with them, that I just need to get out of that stuff. The moment I was out of Florida, that stress lifted off my chest completely. I felt more happy. I was like more of me than anything. There's only a few people that know the real me, know the energetic me. There was I'll tell you one of the stories that involves someone knowing the real me. I'm not gonna say names, but me and her were close at one of my high schools. I think she was a senior that year, a junior or senior, but I ended up moving during that next year, and this is one of my favorite stories. But me, her, and a couple of our friends, it was on the 4th of July. We were getting firecrackers because I was spending that 4th of July with her because we had to work, so we were just going to go to work together. And let's just say I have this thing for firecrackers. I love firecrackers. It's like my favorite thing in the world. And we bought over 4,000 firecrackers. I used most of them, of course. But me, her, and a couple of our guy friends, we met up at the mall and we started having a firecracker war. And I'll just read you how she described it, or not. My phone's on the floor. I'm not gonna grab that. But we started having a firecracker war. And then we got on our cars and we're driving on the road and highway. And what he didn't know is we still had firecrackers. Because I only had a handful of them and I used them all. So he thought we were out. They thought we were out. I had this bottle, because I was trying to make this bottle explode, but that's at the end of this one. But I started lighting them and throwing them out the window while we were driving down the highway, which is probably not a good thing to do, so don't do that. Don't try it. Yes, it was fun for me because I was just a wild kid. I felt real. And the only time I felt real was when I was around them. And my grandparents are trying to get me back to that kind of person because they know that I have part of that in me still. And yes, I do. I just have to find the right people to show. And I'm not used to being loved like this. But while we were driving, we were getting ready to head to work. So, because we just got done we were heading back to her house so we can get ready for work. And I had more firecrackers, so I filled it up with firecrackers, and then I lit one and I tried to light it and then throw it out the window, but it hit the window and then fell back in. And I tried to put it out with my foot, but it exploded under my foot, which hurt really badly. But we both started laughing. And that was probably my favorite 4th of July ever. And the wildest I have ever been, and the realest I have ever been around someone. Everybody thinks my smile's real. Everybody thinks that I'm normal. In reality, there's a lot going on. I can still feel the pain from my past, but where I am now is because of what I've been through. I am telling this story to help people know that you can go through bad and good, depression, everything, suicidal thoughts, but you can come out stronger than when you were. Right now, I am learning to accept compliments. People might say, "Ooh, you're really pretty, you're attractive." I won't believe it. Yes, it feels good for people to finally be saying something like that to me, but to me, it's not real. I don't know those kind of things. And I have dyed my hair multiple times. Right now, it's supposed to be red. You can kind of see the red. But I've dyed my hair brown. I've bleached it. And then I dyed it red. I want to dye it blue with red streaks. But the only reason I like dyeing my hair so much is because it changes my appearance. It makes me a new me. Maybe then I can feel like I can restart. But I know that deep down that I can't. because I'm still the same person that I was years ago. I've started dressing more like the kids now. Like, I'm wearing more dresses more often. I'm wearing wedges, and I'm learning how to do makeup. I can do pretty decent makeup, but right now I'm getting through a really bad phase with my makeup stuff, and I'll start redoing it again. But I just wanted people to know my story. It wasn't the full story, but I hope this can help those who need it done, needed help. And I don't like watching the depression videos or the suicide thought videos or people who tried to commit suicide and survived. But watching those made me think, maybe I can do something good for the world. Maybe I can tell my story. And so here I am today, stronger than ever and proud to be me. Yes, it'll take a bit for me to get to my old self from when I was a wild child, when I was very, very young. But it's just going to take time. And I hope you guys can share this video and get as many likes as possible, because I want people to know that deep down you are strong enough. I like the saying that you are who you are because that's who God created. I don't go to church as often as I used to. I used to go every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And then I'd volunteer there after school every day if I didn't have to work. And then when I did work, I would still do it. I just had to go get ready for work first. But God created you for who you are, and He put you in this life to fight these battles that you are fighting because you are the strongest person for Him. If you follow that, you'll be stronger than anything. The words people tell you won't hurt you. Yes, they will hurt, but they won't kill you like some people let them. I'm not saying suicide is a bad thing, but it's not the right decision. You're hurting more people than you are hurting yourself. That's all I have to say for now. Thank you.